Got video. Cool. Howdy, folks. My name's Dave. I'm a wood turner. Welcome to the channel. It's Switch Tuesday, ready to turn some wood, but I've got to do a little bit of a lathe maintenance, so I'm going to start with that. Oh, and I should go ahead and do this too.
Dave Wright said, "All right, welcome friends.
All
It's
right.
Twitch Tuesday. Thanks for joining me. Let's turn some wood."
So I've got some rust happening here on the ways. And what I like to do is I'll take a piece of 320 or old worn down piece of 220. They're not the same thing, by the way. And I will, in this case, this is air tool oil, so it's just a really thin viscosity oil. And this is how I take the rust off. And I go in circular motions, because if I went up and down the ways, I could create a trough, and I don't want to create that trough. And this doesn't take very much at all. I do have to do this every once in a while, especially when I'm turning green wood. But it's just get the rust off of there. That's what we look like. And that should quiet down the squeaking and stuff as this banjo moves across the ways. So now I need to take this. I'm going to set this on the side of a can I have over here. Let them both air out. I don't want to put them into a closed container right away. That might happen on trash day, but I don't want to put these on a closed container right away, just to avoid the possibility of spontaneous combustion. So let's see, I'll set it right over here. And so I had seen Mav earlier. I don't know if he's on right now, but I didn't hear. I had troubles earlier setting things up. It took me about half an hour to figure out. And I didn't actually figure it out. It took me half an hour monkeying around because I could not get speech chat and Twitch to work properly. And I basically wound up rebooting the computer and just starting everything all over. I went through a couple of forums, stuff like that, and stuff I tried didn't make any difference. And so my last resort was like, you know what? Let's just reboot and see. Because I did shut down, restart the program, stuff like that, but that didn't seem to help. So, all right. But Mab was on at that time. I was surprised to see him, actually, because it was before my usual streaming time, but it was kind of cool to see him out there, man. All right. So what I have here is a piece of crotchwood, and I probably, I do. That goes to that side. Piece of crotchwood, and I went through. Oh, I'm sorry, the camera's not even down. Come on, you can do it. All right, so got a piece of crotchwood here, and I took off the pith on the two branches, and I had some. Once I got cut off the splits, I found I had two decent pieces of wood that I could turn into bowls. So I'm going to start with that, but I am going to do a hollow form today. So that'll be cool. See how that goes. Which means I'm going to need to... Oh yeah, that's much nicer. I am going to need to retract the pin on this a bit. I did a little maintenance all over, basically. I had to clear this out because I had gotten green wood bits stuck in there from it being jammed into green wood, and I could not move this point very easily. So I had to get it out of there and then clean both the pin off because it had a a layer of dried hard sap and sawdust, and then also had to clean the inside of this dude out so that I could put the pin back in because it was not easy getting it out. Okay, so we're going to start with these guys. We'll just turn some bowls real quick. I think it'll be fun, and I'm also using this wood. Otherwise, it would go, I don't know, to the pile out back and may or may not get used for firewood or something. But probably will wind up just drying out and not getting any use out of it. Still, you know, drying out and splitting and all that, not any use for turning anyway. Let's move that guy. Still a little heavy there. Let's try that. Okay, move this one up just a hair. Not quite loose enough. Come on. Such a small piece of wood, it's a little more difficult to get it on the balance point. And I bet that some would argue it's kind of a exercise in futility, but this is how I like to start, to get as close to the balance point as I can, to get rid of any vibration I can get rid of. Come on. So I'm going to say that's really, really close. So let's make sure this dude is secure. Even the small pieces need to be secure in the lathe. Let's see, this one is thick enough that, oh dear, I just lost one of the handles I need. Oh, good, I can reach it from this side. Nice. Okay. Oh, whoops. Need to reattach part of my shower curtain screen here. I'm curious if I get green shower curtains, if I can use that as the background. You know, green screen. Maybe? Yeah. Alright, so this is all I'm going to clear. I'll put an angle with this guy. Clear, clear. Oops, not clear there. Now it is. All right, reach over here, grab a bowl gouge. I guess I kind of need to. I was at, hopefully, some of the folks out there in the internet world, internet land in Traverse City anyway, if you're watching, you made it to the Empty Bowls fundraiser. Our turning club was there, as we are every year, demonstrating wood turning and giving away turned tops and bowls and stuff to kids. And it's just a really, really good time. And so hopefully you made it there, but I've got all my tools are packed away for travel. And there we go. And all my steel. Yeah. I did not take it out yet. All right. That's all good. That's all good. I'm going to change the camera angle there. Double check that. Glasses down. Need that light. And away we go. What are we starting at? Well, that's the slowest speed on the lathe. Let me just turn it up a little bit. Oh boy, that's what I was afraid of. So see, that's what I was afraid of. My tailstock is trying to scoot along these waves a little bit. I didn't have it tight enough. That little film of oil made this slick enough that the tailstock didn't want to tighten down all the way. Or rather, I needed to give it extra attention. We'll put it that way. I think that makes that round. Yep. Angle this a little bit more. Hey now. I got to pay attention to the hand wheel back there. The quill wants to back off too if it doesn't have constant pressure. Set on flat. It's close. All right, am I leaving any natural edge? A little bit, but that actually will probably disappear, so we will ignore it. So now I just want to get down to a spot where I can make a tenon for the chuck to hold on to. And I suppose I should have grabbed my 5/8 spindle gouge while I was at it. And let's go ahead and handle that. Oh, yeah, I need to swap out the little collet sleeve there. Be right back. This little robust setup is kind of nice because different collets you can use different tools. It's just that I have to keep the collets together in one spot, and typically I just kind of leave them in my travel bag because that's usually when I need to swap them out the most. Okay. Whoops. It's good to check, make sure the threads are clear when you have to swap collets, because any kind of debris in these very fine threads will keep you from being able to tighten it down all the way. So we're good there. All right, so spindle gouge. Every single tool pretty much can become a multitasker, but every tool needs to be handled a little bit differently based on its geometry and function. With the spindle gouge, definitely definitely different from a bowl gouge in that the flute is wider and the steel underneath is a lot thicker. And it's meant for spindle turning, but it can be used for a lot of other things. And one of the coolest things I learned, Mark Gardner showed me this. Oh gosh, when was that? I know we just talked this last year. When 20, I want to say like 2017, might have been 2018, first time we met. And he was down for doing a demo at our turning club. And he gave 2 days worth of classes that time. And, since I'm not turning, so I was there for both days of the classes after the club meeting and the demo. But he showed me a fantastic way to be able to drive the spindle gouge. So let's go down here. I'm going to walk you through it. That is part of what this channel is about, right? Education. And if you practice this has completely changed the way I was using spindle gouges. So on a spindle gouge, like I want to make, in this case, I want to make a 90-degree surface here. and dovetail this in a little bit, but I want this to be parallel, or rather, sorry, perpendicular to the ways. I want that to be a flat face that sits on the chuck. And with the spindle gouge, it's pretty easy to do. And when I'm working with a spindle gouge, wherever I want the end of my cut to be, or where I want the flute pointing at the end of the cut, that's where I put the tool to begin with. And in this case, I want right about there at the end of my cut. Oh, I'm doing that dovetail. That should still be all right. And then I'll put my thumb on top. And then I will start at some place that, in this right here, is a neutral, comfortable position, just like that. And every time I move, my body wants to naturally go to a neutral position. So I set myself up to be in that neutral position at my end point, which means I have to be in a slightly uncomfortable position to start. But when I'm facing off a piece like this, I want to start high and raise the handle. And so I'm starting the cut on the bottom wing, but very, very close to the tip. And as you can see, my thumb starts here. I have to rotate the tool so that my thumb now is no longer on top. All I have to do now is guide this with my finger. It's just a very light push. Wood turning is mostly finesse. It's not a lot of pressure. And then just lift the handle. And as the handle lifts, so here's my starting position. We'll see right there. As my hand lifts the handle straight up, I'm not turning the handle in any way. My wrist naturally wants to turn over into its neutral position. And looky there, I'm at the end of my cut. So I want to use the body mechanics, muscle memory. I want to train all that. But I want to set myself up in a position that the forces and all the stuff that I'm working with on this rotating piece is almost entirely going down into the tool rest. And if I start high, right here, you see that's the cut, and just raise the handle. Uh-oh. I thought I tightened that down. My quill came loose again. Bear with me, hold on a second. There's something not quite right here. Let's try this again. Okay, that should not back off. Okay. So start up high. Just raise the handle. My wrist naturally wants to roll over as I'm coming up because it wants to bring the thumb to the top at the neutral position. That puts me in a really great spot. And that's why I set up the end of my cut, because I can move and shift to get to the start. I want the end of the cut to be comfortable. I want to be relaxed. I don't want to fight anything. And that's how Mark Gardner taught me, had made that one change with my spindle gouge work. He suggested doing that. Just stick your thumb on there and give it a try. You'll see what happens. It just naturally wants to roll over. So I don't have to have a death grip on anything. I don't have to try to rotate my wrist. I'm not rotating my wrist at all. As I bring up my hand, everything in your forearm, and then the wrist, all that movement just lifting up naturally rotates it over. So you're not physically trying to roll it over. It just does it on its own. And that's really, really cool, especially for muscle memory. So let's take this down a little bit. And I do need that light. Pretty good shape. I want to make a few adjustments to it. I think I'll bring that foot in a little bit. Yeah, that works. A little bit of scraping. Don't need a handle for this. It's a very safe cut to make. I'm working on the lower wing. The flute is almost closed, not all the way. I need to be able to see down in the gap between the upper wing and the rotating material so I can see where it's cutting on this. And then I'm just making a straight. I can see the tool working as I'm going. Helps keep me on track. And this is not, I'm not jamming this into the wood. I'm just taking off the high spots. I just got just enough pressure to keep it in positive contact with the wood, or whatever the material is I happen to be using. And I still think I want to adjust that a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Nice thing about this is still kind of green wood. It's not like super green, but it's not seasoned, so it's cutting pretty nicely. It would anyway if it was. It's maple. It's not like it'd be a hard wood to turn. So let's do a shoe scrape here. Very safe cut to make. Can't get a catch. I have tried. I've tried so I could prove myself right or wrong. And so far, I've not found a way to give myself a catch doing this. I'll figure out what's going on. This isn't tightening down enough to keep the quill from backing off. So before I flip this around, I'll take a look at that. I'm not sure what the deal is. Do I have a flash? Oh, I do have a flashlight. Cool. Let me try this. Where is that? Wait, is that a maybe an outlet? Yes. Okay, I see that the screw for the little key for the keyway was a little loose, so we'll see if that was not the issue all along. All right, let's see. I need abrasive. It's cool. This has started spalting it. Why don't think it was spalted when I got it. But it has started to spalt, so that's kind of cool. No punky wood here. So it's kind of green. It's filling up the abrasive a little bit, but it's not sopping wet green. So I should still be able to sand it. There we are. Okay, that's that guy. So the outside of that one's done. Let's go with this guy. And that means that I can move this closer. Something like that. Okay, pick an arbitrary spot. Looks relatively... Seriously? No, I don't believe you. Not for a second. Yep, that's what I thought. So there's no way it was balanced that first time. That's never happened, man. That would be cool, I guess. It's never happened. Okay, that's really close. So once again, I'll make sure that it is secure in the lathe. And you know, I mean, it's probably doesn't matter a whole lot. This is a small piece of timber, but it's just a habit I like to keep working with. We want to start with this minimal vibration. That clears. That clears. Okay. So this guy's going to be, well, definitely shallower. Seriously? Come on now. All right, so that part's around. That's really what matters right now. Let's see. Okay, we're pretty close to it. Having enough, a spot where there's enough material to create a tenon. So here, let's see, I wonder, should be able to see this from above. So my handle's down low. This is my end point. Thumb's on top. Start the handle down low so I can get to that lower wing, that spot right there to start the cut. And then all I have to do is lift my arm straight up. So if you're watching the video, my arm comes straight up. I'm not intentionally moving my wrist. It's doing it on its own. So it's not like it's a complicated movement that I have to really pay a whole lot of attention to. If that makes any sense, if that's not a weird, it's working with my own body mechanics. And that's the way I like to teach, to get people to work with their own body mechanics. Everybody's different. Let's see. That actually is a nice shape. I think I'm going to leave it where it's at. And just clean it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm liking that. So a little bit of natural edge there, but that's going to be all right. And probably, see here, most of it's going to disappear anyway. Hey, Mav, how are you? For some reason, that was very muted. It should not have been. Let's take a look at my sound is not all the way up. There we go. There, that should work. How the heck are you, Mav? I had some troubles earlier, man. I'm trying to get set up and I couldn't get the audio to work. And then I couldn't get the speech chat to work to send audio over to the Twitch chat so that I could actually hear it. Although in the speech chat, the text was showing up when I typed in the chat box. The text would show up in speech chat, but no audio would come back. And I wound up having to just reboot the entire system because that's the only thing I could figure. I tried different forums and chat rooms to try to resolve it, follow the instructions. It didn't do anything. And I'm like, okay. And what I remember as a service tech is reboot the damn thing and see what that does. And that fixed it. So there was a conflict somewhere, and I'm not smart enough to know where that somewhere might be. All right, so the outside of that one's now done. Now we can move on to hauling both the bulls out. Uh-oh, that's going to fall off. We don't want that to happen. There. Okay, this guy's got to come out. So if you have any, apparently, of the C series chucks from PSI Woodworking, where did I put it? I should have brought it out here. They now have these extended jaws that you can purchase. It comes as a set, small, spigot, like these step jaws. It's not a step though. It's just the center post that goes down. It can hold spindles and small stuff like that. This This is nice. It brings the piece away from the chuck a little bit. I eyeballed them on other chuck systems and was really considering getting one from Vicmark. And I may still do that. It was just less expensive for me to get into a set working on these CSC 3000 Barracuda chucks, which are from PSI, C Series PSI woodworking. Anyway, thought I'd pass that on. It's kind of a cool little thing. They came up with it, or put it in their catalog, and that's nice. They sell their chuck now. They used to. They sold it. It came in a box. Had 3 sets of jaws, some spare Allen screws for the jaws, and the key and the Allen wrench to change things out. All that in a nice plastic case. 140 bucks, which was, for an entry level chuck, is actually not bad. These chucks are okay. The chucks that I have, I bought the first set in 2015, 16. And a few years later, they were maybe $10 higher in price. I think they were $148, so maybe $13 higher in price. But I saw the benefit of having multiples of the same chuck, so I didn't have to change jaws over and over. So got another set. It was slightly modified. They upgraded the material. Not the material. They upgraded the jaws. They made the keyway for jaw number 4 a little bit different. So they made some slight tweaks to it, but made it enough that I can't use the jaws from the new unit on the old unit. It doesn't line up properly, jaw number 4. I can use the other jaws, that's okay, but jaw number 4 does not line up properly. But now they're selling it without that. It's a set of jaws and then the set of these 2 things, couple, and then the key that goes with it, and so I think it's a little bit better choice of jaws now than it was. Now these step jaws have been really, really handy. I like having them, but the other jaws are taller, and it's just that center post, so it makes it a little bit easier for a couple of other things that I like to turn. Okay, let's see. So now we're going to hollow this dude out. Hey, welcome to the channel. That would be, what is it? Nostalgia Technician OM01 Ticks. Best viewers. Well, thanks for participating in chat. Appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. My name's Dave. I'm a woodturner. I hope you stick around. I've actually gotten a couple of followers who do the same thing. They're saying, hey, best viewers here, advertising that, trying to drum up business. I won't be going to your site to get those viewers, thank you, but I do appreciate you participating in chat and helping the algorithm. Thank you very much. I want to reach as many viewers as I possibly can. I want to show that wood turning is not something that has to beat the hell out of you. It should be an enjoyable endeavor, and it can be. All right, so we'll just hollow this out real quick. You see, when you get everything lined up, everything is right. The tool pretty much wants to self-feed, at least until the wood breaks a little bit, but the tool wants to pretty much self-feed. So I just got to get it started. Okay, don't emulate this unless you're confident of your abilities. This is something that does take practice. But the tool does want to self-feed. All right, I want to double check my depth. I'm getting close to the wall thickness I want for this guy. Wow, I'm only that far down, really? So I still got quite a bit to go. That's a good thing. Oh, come on. My eyes are not working. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Work, work, work. There we go. So basically right there. All right. Cool. That works. Still a little heavy in the bottom. Still a little heavy in the bottom. It doesn't take much pressure, and it shouldn't take much pressure. If you're having to force the tool, perhaps consider sharpening. Sharp tools are your friends. My friends, anyway. I am assuming they're friends of everyone. I find that if I did get cut with a sharp tool, it heals quicker because the cut is clean. I think it's still a little thick. Right in here. There we go. Nice thing about the negative rig scraper is that it really doesn't care what the grain direction is. Okay. Where'd I put it? I never put it over here. Here it is. Whoops. I forget that. Yeah, no, perhaps it would make a little more sense. If I were to use a handle I could actually hold on to. There we go. There we go. All right, so that one's turned. Do with the key. There it is. And I can hollow out the other one, and then we'll flip around and get that tenon off there. Did I not set it? Oh, that's right. I set it down here. Memories. I think I'm losing my mind. Okay. Take my time and make sure this is secure, because green wood compresses much more than seasoned wood will. Make sure all that's going to clear. Okay. Just easier this way. So hopefully I'm not in the way of the camera, but now I'm just going to go down on this bowl. I'm just going to work down in stages. Get a thinner bowl. Try to keep my shoulder out of the way of the camera there. Alright, that's a good surface. Okay, that's pretty even. pretty even. Hey! Almost lost my bull guts to gravity. Check my depth. Cool. Ooh, still a little thick in the bottom. There we go. So let's clean this one up. It's actually pretty darn clean. Nice even wall thickness. Cool. Huh. I turned my lathe down, but I was already turning at the slowest speed. Where are we at? There we are. And hopefully here soon, fitting on a couple of turning jobs. Hopefully I'll be able to pick those up and then I can stream those too. That would be fun. That's better. Key. And hey, I wonder, that probably won't fit in there. Yeah, let's just move this guy. Which means I don't need the key for that now, but I will need that guy. And a piece of leather. Alright, so yep, there's the bulls. thought I had a hold of the leather and I was actually holding on to shavings. And I dropped the leather. Okay. So I'm just using the leather as a friction drive. And I only need to put enough pressure against this to keep me from spinning it freely on the leather. So I can spin it there. I don't want to be able to spin it. I'll spin it there. So it's just little micro movements, although I'm running true. How about that? Just going to say I'm probably not running true right now, but there, just that much pressure. Oops, that's right. Drop the tool rest, Dave. And the spindle goes. And so I'm going to cut the end, thumbs on top. Start high, handle low. And just lift straight up. Doesn't matter where in the world my hand is on the tool, as long as my thumb is at the top, at my end cut. Sharp edge off of there. Let's do this really quick. Alright, groovy. I guess today's my day to drop things. Let's see. I want to do something about that tenon. And I just found out today that my compressor is still not working. So I'll be doing all of my sanding by hand or under the power of the lathe. But it would be a little bit nicer if my compressor wasn't down, obviously. Okay, let's put this over here. There we go. Come on, come on. You know what? I think I will just take that dude off of there. Oh, and I think I can still... Yes. And I can twist it onto the larger handle that's meant for the 3-inch and still have a good handhold. And then grab this guy. Alright, that's one. Let's get the other one up here. Ooh, excuse me. Excuse me. Not quite centered. There we go. Now let's make sure that... Okay, that's good enough. Now we'll do something about that tenon. Move that over there. Okay. Bring back the death towel. Now I imagine if you have cold jaws, you could probably just turn that all the way off. I don't have a set of those, but this doesn't take a whole lot of time either. The only caveat is I'm not turning. There we are. Look at that. They sort of nest together. So I'm going to set these inside to dry. I'll be right back. Can feel with the sun going down, man, the temperature is dropping. And we're going to still hit the 30s for the next couple of nights. How you doing, Fuzz? Where'd you wind up? I have a new friend. His name is Mitten. I am a new foster for, I am new to fostering cats. And got a new little buddy today. He's very skittish with the new digs. Okay. So put that away, Ooh. Look at that. Stuff on my computer. How are we doing on time? Oh, wow. Well, that's what happens when you start early. Okay. Put that away. Move the death towel over to there. I need to remove this.
Mav K14 said, Dave's wife is a rife wife.
When I had one of those, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so now we're going to work on, uppy. The actual crotch of this guy. Back that off a bit. That looks about right. Stuck somewhere in there.
Mav K14 said, I guess it's a rife life.
Hey man, that could be a good sitcom. It's a rife life. Because everything about my life is hilarious. Yeah, right. Still a little heavy in the bottom. I see I've got, you can see this line right here. That's a bark inclusion. So I'm be curious to see what that brings.
Mav K14 said, holy firewood.
Okay, still a little heavy in the bottom. So we'll take this up, put it right there. That might be a problem. That was too far. You are toying with my affections, you know that, right? Okay, so just a wee bit here. In theory. That might have been too much. Come on. Or maybe not quite enough. We're close. Come on. There we go. So I missed it by just a bit. All right, so about there should be good. As soon as I get this guy set up, I'm going to have to step inside for a couple of minutes, double check on something. So the mic will go quiet for about 3 minutes, maybe 5. Tighten that dude down. I will check it again when I come right back. All right, we'll be back shortly. Test, test. All right, got audio back. Very cool. All right, so that will not clear until I get it round. Let me see, where's that? There it is. Get the longer tool rest here. That clears, it all clears. Very cool. Alright, gotta move tool down, and here we go. So very little vibration, that's always a plus. You can see my tool is not bouncing up and down on the tool rest. None of this stuff is bouncing around. I'm only advancing the tool as fast as it can cut. Not a lot of force, it's just a little bit of, it could be any finger, it doesn't matter. Now that one a little clear. Hooray! Aha. You know what? That comes off pretty easy. Let's get rid of that. I think what I want to do first. Take care of that. At least have it fairly straight. So as I move down, I'm shifting my whole body. I'm not leaning over to get the cut. Placing myself in a spot where I am stable. Yeah, there's some nice spalting going on in there. Very cool. Okay, a little bit of fungus growing on that dude. Looks like it's going to have some neat colors in there. All right, let's see how this balances out. I got that, and then I got that. If I shifted everything this way, I could have that more even. Does it matter? I don't know. Let's take another cut and see. You know, I think that will be just fine. All right, let's get down to this here. Time to change tool steel. That's just really pretty in there. Let's see. I think I may try to get two pieces out of this, because this is different than up here. Could be because I'm down in the surface more. You know what? Let's take a cut and find out. But I will change my tool steel first. Let's see. Where you at? There you are. Comadre. Thank you. Okay, so it's starting to expose some of that. Okay, I still think, though, I might get two pieces out of this. I'm not going to have a hollow form that deep. Let's see. I think, what do I think? I think I got some splits there I need to get rid of. That's what I think. to go. Alright, that's pretty clean. Okay, I think that got all of the... Oh, now I see him. Right in there. He says, I don't know how deep they go. So I saw him in the light play over there, from over there, so I'm looking on this side now. That might be one. That might have got him. Alright, so I'll look down here. This way. Groovy, okay. Just got a bit there and a bit there. Well, looks like that one at least is going to disappear. Okay, let's see. I want to go this way. That figure of the wood. I'm trying to see if this... Okay, so the wood's not punky. Alright, cool. It's just a little bit rough. I mean, it's on the way to starting that whole punkiness journey. So I wanted to double check and see that figure in there, and it's starting to get bleached out by the fungus. But it's in there. Okay, so I want to say, what do I want to say? Let's see. If I were to let's see what I can do. Okay, let's see. Let's think about this. That could be fun. I don't know how that would do drying, but we're going to find out. All right, so I'm going to, let's see. I think I will take it down to here. I think that will be enough. And that will still, wait, how long is this guy? That's 6, 10 inches. Double check, 6, 10. So I could spin it right now. Okay. So I want to turn legs into it. Let's see where the... Let's shift that up. Where does that put the other guy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Almost. Okay. So I want to take this guy and go 1. No. I want to have it. Okay, let's mark this. That would be my start line. And from there, I want to shift everything 2. 1, 2. So that'll be that center line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, this is not going to be symmetrical anymore. We got 12 slots. I need to go 3, so let's go back and we'll just move it 1. So that's the top. I want that. Oh, pardon me. Had a sneeze come on. Okay, so that is my start line. So I'll move 1 there. Now from there, I'll go back to this and move 1 there. How's that going to look? Not quite in the center, is it? All right. So let's take this down 1. Okay, this is where I want my center. So is that center of this? That would be center of this. All right, so I got to get to where that is the center. There we are. Okay. Now if I go 1 this way, give me that line. I'll put an arrow on it. Now I'll shift 1 back to center, go 1 the other way, and that should frame that up really nicely. Yeah, that worked. Okay, so now from here, I need to go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put an arrow on that guy. Count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm on my starting line. Okay, cool. So now I go to this guy. That will be my starting line. I'll go 6 the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that will be that line. Okay, now I'm going to take it off there. So let's say that 3, yeah, we'll go full 6 inches. That works. All right, then from there, I'll go here. So now I have my center line and my axes that I can turn the legs on. I'm going to try this strange idea I have in my head. In there, yes. Some nice figure in there. I think I will take it all the way down. Yeah. And I will take that down and then this little bit down with it. Okay. And then, oh yes, I need to take that down. So let's do wrong tool. Oy! Don't run into that. That one or that one? That one or that one? Let's go with that. shoulder there. Cool. So that was just a 1/2 inch skew. Let's see. All right. Give me a few seconds. Okay. All right, so you can see that bark inclusion right in the center, so it looks like it's closing up as it gets up in closer into here. Although that may not be accurate either, because I've got this bark inclusion too, so it's probably all the same. It just closed up a little bit here. Which means what? No, I'll still hollow it from the other side. Okay. Set that guy aside for a minute. There you are. Oh, look at that. And you are pretty much used up. All right. So since this is green, I'm going to turn it now. I don't think I need that anymore. Okay. So I don't want to vary my speed when I'm going across the surface, including going off the edge. I don't want to speed up. You can get tear out that way. Pretty bad tear out. Even going off the edge on a really, really good cut, you might find little bitty tiny little breakouts. But if I was to vary the speed and rush right off there, I'd have all kinds of chunks taken out of there. Let's see, should this be a box or should this be? I think this will be a box. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I do. So at this point, I'm going to leave myself a way to hold on to this thing later. Because it is going to dry and warp. So this is going to be a twice turned box. Now let's look for a good spot to part it off at. I think probably right in here. Maybe. Let's see what that looks like. No. No, that should be okay. I think I will take it up to here. That's still mighty thick of a lid, though. How about if I go to here? What will I find? Okay, all this will line up pretty well. That'll line up pretty well. This isn't going to matter a whole lot. That'll line up pretty well. Looks like a good spot to me. Do I have to go that thick? Yeah, I'm going to go that thick. So for this particular box, I'm going to use what I suppose is called an onion ring. I think it's a better name than what I was giving it when I had the idea in my own head. I mean, I'm not the originator of this. I stumbled onto it independently, and I'm sure that there are scores of turners who have stumbled onto this independently. Oh, that smells so good. Oh man, I really do like the smell of maple. Man, it smells good. I've forgotten. It's a very sweet odor. Sometimes get it from cherry too, but most of the time it's maple. Okay. Now let's see how that's going to join up. So look at that. Those will line up fairly well. This will line up all fairly well. This is it's not burly. It's but it is all compression wood from the branches growing together and holding each other up. So it's going to be fairly well figured. I almost said that's what she said. Almost. All right, so I will part this off. I'm going to hollow this a little bit. I'll hollow that a little bit, leave a thicker wall, but an even wall thickness. Then I'll have to come back and true it up. But I'm not letting this go fallow. I left the other piece. It's a little bit larger, so it won't dry as fast. But this will, and I want to get to it before. Yeah, that's a lot of bark inclusion in there. It's okay. So I'm going to use what I have heard termed the onion ring. I forget what I used to call it. I honestly forget. I had a different name for it. But anyway, it's just a ring, and I'll put it in place. I'll turn a spot for it when this is dry. Turn a spot for it to set that ring in there, and then we'll have it will fit inside the lid too, so everything will fit together pretty snugly in theory. Let's see, I don't need this guy right now. So let's go back to this guy. Ooh, doggy. It's always interesting how the bark will just come right off. You can definitely hear the difference when I'm turning, if I'm going through, good solid wood or not. Okay. Dude, I'm sorry. You gotta move some more because you are in the way. All right. What's my depth? It's not enough. That should be enough. Well, that's what you would call a catch on the inside. Now let both wings touch the wood, and that is rule number 1. Do not let both wings touch the wood. And then I will take, where is it? There it is. Raise that up a bit. And sidewall scraper there. And now that is that deep, still not deep enough. Okay. Let's go with this guy then. And a half. That'll do. That'll do. Let's see. I want to next. I guess I really need that. Around those edges so that they won't dry as fast as sharp, crisp edges would. And split. We don't want that. I don't want that. Okay. Set you around. And I do believe, let's see, that's the angle I want. I do believe I will do some of this action right here. And that should give me an even wall thickness there that is the same thickness as this. If you can, oh, let's look at that. So pretty close, very pretty close. So that wall thickness is even. That's how I can grab onto it later. I'm going to set these off to the side to dry. Just wow. See, I don't know if that shows up really well in the camera, but there's a lot of figure in there. This is going to look really pretty cool. There's a lot of figure in this. That heartwood there, that's cool. All right. Let's see, I want to actually, no, I just want to set these over here on this drying shelf. Ooh, hey. It might be a birdhouse. Put that there. And that there. Oh, we got a split. And that's because so I got a split on this piece. And I don't remember what I was using this for. Or why I turned this, I don't remember. But clearly, there was just a little bit of pith left there and there. And that's what caused the split. Kind of a bummer. I think that is honey locust. That was a nice piece too. Let's see, it could have been honey, either honey locust or more cork. Nope, that's honey locust. Well, I say that. That could also be a more cork, but I don't have a. They both have similar colorations and grain patterns. It's similar. Different species, but both of them are yellow woods, which is pretty groovy. Okay, I like yellow. All right, now we're going back to my idea here. Set that down there. Bring back this guy. That anymore, so I can put that away. Okay. So this was this guy, and actually I'm going to physically mark these vertices so I know for sure which ones I'm going after. They're marked, but We'll start the points on. Let's see, and that's that one. And then that one. All right, let me think about this. Let's see, if this is here, like so. Yeah, you gotta set the tailstock, Dave. And it's definitely going to be imbalanced for a bit. Then the leg will be here and here. Yeah, okay, that should work okay. Do I want... All right, let's measure this again. That's 3 inches to right there. And that is 3 inches to that line. So we're close enough. I just got a little bit more weight here, so I will take that off. To start, get rid of that little bit of extra weight. Oh dear, we're not going to have a center point at this moment, so I'll have to create one. And why is that tool not right where it should be? Where did I find? Where did I put that center finder? I know I had it. No, I wonder if it's back here. I want to left it back here. Nope. Okay. We'll go for balance point again. Fair enough. There is a way. So I think that's a good one. It's not. Are you moving on me? Might be moving on me because I'm kind of... The point is in bark. The teeth of this thing will not be, but the point is in bark. No, I didn't move it that much, but apparently I did. There we go. Alrighty then. Now, some of that weight is gone. Let's line these up again. Oop. Come on, get in there. There you go. What in the world? All right, I'm going to have to tighten down my tailstock just a smidge. Oh boy. Because it just wants to slide down a ways. It's harder to compress a tree from the side. Stay where you are. Okay. Come on. Oh, no. Okay. That should be good. See how well this works. You know what? Nope, I want to leave it this way. Okay, so now, is this going to work? That is my next question. Because this may not work. I want to be able to do that. Oh, yeah. Okay, that idea is not going to work. I would have to actually carve that. Okay. Fair enough. It was a wild idea. I was thinking about turning legs on this, so I'd turn legs this way, but then the legs this way I'd have to turn, so I'd lose some material there. Every time I tried to turn opposite legs. And they would never match. Okay. So let's see. So I will give this a different shape than what I was intending the first time. Okay. I need to clean these up though. So let's do that. Still got a little bit there, but I think that'll be okay. Just a tiny bit. And it might come off during any sanding. Okay. I think Yeah. Be different. Yeah. Okay. I'm liking it more and more. So I see that I'm going to have to go ahead and turn that little point away. Oh, that's it right there. Looky, looky, looky. Okay, cool. All right, so I got that bit. What kind of funkiness are we going to do here? What kind of funkiness? I really like that shape, but I don't want it to be perfectly straight. So I want it to taper slightly towards the top, just slightly. And the reason for that is when it's standing up, I can see it from the sides, looking at it horizontally or vertically, but when it's horizontal, those sides will appear to be more straight. It's really wild. The Greeks figured this out, or the Romans, or whoever. Well, I guess it was Greek first. The Greeks figured this out. Their columns and stuff. The base of the column is slightly wider than at the top, but to the eye, they look perfectly straight. Whereas, like, straight columns look not straight. If they're straight all the way up, our eyes fool us. Okay, that is in really nice shape as far as the surface goes, but I'll still be a sheer straight line. And then that guy will get routed over there. And I will just, yeah, that's really, really nice looking. I really hope that this bit here, and let's see how that shows from the top, not so well. Not so well. How about over on this side? Nope. Well, let's try this again. Golly, excuse me. I really hope where it is spalting in here that the finish really makes that pop, but there's a lot of figure in there. It is getting washed out because it's an older piece of maple and it has started the spalting process. So you can see, well, this is figure here, but this bit, that's fungus. It's off color white. This off color white, that's um, that's the actual normal wood. But this right here, that off color, that's fungus. Fungus down in here, and that's what the fungus has done to the figure of the timber, is that it's muddied it up a little bit in some spots. But a little bit of sanding here, hopefully that will resolve itself. Okay, I need my tools. There we go. Let's see. I think. Oop. That is not my bowl gouge. That doesn't look anything like my bowl gouge. Okay, that's the end of my cut. Start high. Lift the handle. Oh, you can't see that from there. Maybe you can see it from here. Aha, yes, I pulled it off. Nice. Okay, so I need to clean this up now. Unhandle the bowl gouge for that. What's that? Natural edge, right? Yep, right there. Okay, very good. Beautiful. This is a nice piece of wood. So yeah, you can see this right next to the dark wood here. Oh, you can't see that. My goodness. Okay, so right here you can see it on this camera. It's that little off-white area in between these two darker areas, and there's one right there. That's the discoloration from the breakdown by the fungus. All right, this is going to be a mask thing. I probably should have had the mask on for the other ones too. Whoops. Didn't realize I got stuck to that. Seti said no. Why is there only one in there? Oops. Okay. Come on. Thank you. Crawl, home. Come on. Mav K14, I just saw, Mav, that you are on another 5-stream streak. Thank you very much, Mav. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh yeah, that's now that it's sanded, I can see that that's gonna look really nice. Okay, cool. Now I can chuck this dude up.
Mav
And go
K14
for it.
said, amazing.
Amaze balls. Waiting for the dust to die down for a sec before I take the mask off. In the meantime, I can move that guy. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, this or conclusion in the top. It does go all the way through. But hey, man, that's what this is all about, right? Adventure. Not unsafe adventures, just adventures. The right size, it is not.
Mav K14 said, I've only made a candlestick on a lathe.
But hey, you got on a lathe, though. You say only a candlestick. Yeah, only. That's spindle turning. It is not only good practice, but don't sell yourself short, man. Turning candlesticks is not, especially having a match. Matching is like one of the skills I really worked
Shop
at.
one.
Shop. Oh, gotcha. Matching everything, just like the protection turning. That was one of the skills that I practice that as much as I can, because it can be hard to match things sometimes. Have it consistent. There we go. Come on. Say turning spindles or whatever. Same thing as turning candlesticks. They're spindles. That's spindle work too.
Mav K14 said, I loved those classes.
I did too, man. I really wish that kids today had the same opportunities. But now it's all about alternative math, Ebonics, different, whatever. I don't know. The new math, I don't understand. Like some of this, what they call new math. Now they're teaching kids how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, and stuff. And it's like, how are you coming up with these? Like, what the heck is this? But they don't have the same opportunities, like, having those shop classes or what I want to say, home ec. I don't think those are as available as they used to be. All right. So we'll see the top of this here. I want to see.
Mav K14 said, in my high school you had to register early for shop, advanced shop, and environmental science.
Okay. I can't remember what it was like when I was in school. I think you had the choices and you could sign up for whatever, but you had to do it early, perhaps. I honestly don't remember. Okay, well, I got the right camera on. All right, so I want to finish this bead. Yeah. Yeah, see, like that. See? Right now, there'll be none of that. Okay. Is that good enough for government work, or do I need to do a little bit better?
Mav K14 said, I started by telling the shop teacher I wanted in during the previous semester. I still have my shop apron.
Hey, nice, man. You went to one of those fancy schools. I did not get a shop apron. But they didn't have the safety equipment that we needed for, forging and thermoplastics and what I want to say, wrought iron and come on, Dave. Yeah, it'll come to me eventually, maybe. Yeah, I mean, those kind of things aren't in, at least the places that I've been, they're not in the curriculum any longer. It's all about raising good workers now. It's like, I thought we were teaching these kids like valuable shit. I remember when my kids were younger, going to school. My youngest boy, when he was in grade school, he loved to read. He really enjoyed it. But then they changed their curriculum and made it a mandatory. They had to read X amount of books every month and give a report on each one. And he refused to read after that. And a lot of students in his class, they kind of went down that road. They lost their love of reading. And the only way I could get it back was to let them read comic books. What do they call those? What do they call those?
K14 said, they had a pile of aprons and I dug for it, had it both years, then paid for it when I passed advanced shop.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, we didn't have any of that stuff in where I got those classes. That's very cool, man. Okay, so from here, now I'm going to start working on hollowing this guy. That's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. That is going to be a problemo. All right, I'm kind of thinking to myself how I want to address this because that bark inclusion is going to mess up my entry hole. So let's get this turned away first. Unless I turn this into a lidded box. Unless, that is a possibility. How would I part the lid off now, though, Dave? So many good questions, no answers. Okay. First things first, we've been spinning for a while. It's green wood. Let's check our hold. Okay, that's good. I need the ball gouge. I don't have to use this piece of wood for the lid. I do not have to do that.
Mav K14 said, I thank the previous 2 kids that wrote their names on it.
Nice. I can't turn that into a lid without using CA glue. Well, you know what? Let's just see where it goes. What happens? There we go. That is generally the shape that I want. I was thinking about cleaning up the outside of that, but you know what? I'll do that anyway. It will probably. I should say nothing and just allow whatever happens to happen. We will take this guy. I could still turn this into a lidded box, but clean up the outside of this guy in case, you know, everything works out. I won't be coming back to this, I don't think, just to sand it. Once it's hollow, but we'll see what happens to this. I'll have my suspicions, but we're not going to. Yeah, there we go. So I just need to throw this guy on there. Whoops, not that guy. This guy. Just the Velcro hooks would not be a good surface to sand from. I think that would leave me burned nylon. Does that look not bad? Cool. All right. That piece of sandpaper is toast. As toast gets. All right. I need to. I need to remove this guy. Yeah, that worked a lot better. I reamed out my Morse 2 tapers. I got lazy and didn't do that for a while. But I reamed them out, cleaned them out, straightened them up, and now things release a lot easier. All right, I'm done with the skew. Okay. Time to make my micro adjustments to get this centered. Still low. Okay. And I'll do a full turn that time. Oh, Jesus. All right. I think I'm a little high now, and I just messed up the whole surface that I just spent cleaning up. And I think that the bark is just going to give me fits. Maybe not. too low. I'm gonna say I'll go back and clean that up in a minute. Okay, I'm not sure here if that is. Alright, so I gotta work on this again. So I will come at it from this angle with the bow gouge. And now we drop this down. It went all the way out there. Okay. Oity, oity, oity. Time to sharpen. Dude is too dull. Okay. Go, baby, go. What the heck? It might be all right. Yes. righty. Almost there. Almost seems like my CBN wheel is getting dull. How are we doing there? All right, just about got it, I think. All right, let's readjust. That it? Why does it seem like that's not right? Because it's not. Dang it. That might be. The fix. Yep. Well, I'm having trouble with this one today. A little bit of lip that I just can't seem to get rid of. I think I just did. I think I just did. All right, we'll give that a spin and see how that cuts. It still doesn't quite look right. But my eyes could be playing tricks on me too. We were just talking about that, weren't we? All right. There's that. That should be okay. Oops. No. There. Okay. Time for a new piece of the abrasive. Oh, I have one out. Oh yeah, just like that. Just like that. Sharp tools make a huge difference, man. All right, that'll do. How are we doing on time? Quarter till. So let's get this going. And I am definitely too low. I think that might be about right. Yeah, you can see we're broke out a little bit on that bark inclusion. Dang it. I was hoping that wouldn't happen, but I suspected that it probably would. So let's see. I wonder if I shoot this, it's too wet. So I was wondering if I shot that with CA glue, if that would harden that up enough that I could continue turning. So I don't know, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens when I hit it with CA glue. I think the bark is still too wet, but I may have to pick this up again tomorrow night. Hey, while I'm here, let's make it snow. I'm going to give that a shot. Let's see if I can harden that up enough that when I'm back hollowing, it doesn't break out. Then I think I'm doing good. Do I have the accelerator out there? Okay. I have misplaced the accelerator now. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see if this will work. Oh, no. We're not getting glue all over everything. We're only getting it on the bark, Dave. We're not doing that. No, 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 no. You need to pay attention, sir. Well, hopefully I can sand that off, because it is very much going to change how the finish. Yeah, it's not soaking in. And I suspect it's because the bark is too wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up for the evening. Let this dry. I'll hit this with CA glue later. Once that bark is dry, it'll soak it up, and then I can, at least in theory, have a solid rim all the way around, because I've got this knocked out. So, and I really don't want to make the hole wider. I can make the hole wider and then use the hollowing system, which is just fine too. I'm just trying, I'm trying not to use tons of tools, I guess. Like I can hollow with back hollowing if I can keep that opening from breaking. But there is a real possibility that is just going to break. In which case, I'll have to use the hollowing system, which is fine. Just more setup. Not that big a deal. Okay, I think I got the CA glue off the surface anyway. So, I need to remove this from the lathe. And I'm going to get a plastic bag and I'm going to seal it around here so that this stuff doesn't dry as fast as that. And we'll let it sit for a little while, a couple hours. And set that right there. No, close the door. There we go. So let's see, the tape should be right over here. That would be fishing line, Dave. Oh, there it is. There's the tape. And then a plastic shopping bag. All right. It looks as though Mitten has come out of hiding and at least used the litter box. So that's cool. Has he eaten anything? Okay. Oops. All right. So we're going to try to designer dry this. I guess I want to have it dry in a specific way. So let me see if I can pull that off. All right, so let's see, I think what I will do is I'll do this. And then I can adjust that hole, I think. Or I can just leave it alone and just tape it down. Yeah. There's an idea. Come on. So we'll just work our way around this thing. Got this silly song. Oh, the little old lady from Pasadena. What was that? Beach Boys? Little old lady from Pasadena? We were talking at the Empty Bowls thing. A few of us, and got into somebody, some older woman was a racer. I'm like, ah, cool. So that got into the little old lady from Pasadena. Go, Granny, go. So anyway, it was kind of cool to hear that, man. I think I don't know how old she is, but in my age bracket, I hear. And I'll be 61 this year if I make it that far. You know what? This would actually be really freaking awesome for even putting CA glue on that in the first place. Duh. Although I don't want the tape to stick, but I can take the tape off before I shoot it with Accelerate. Okay, so this little bit here should dry faster than the rest, and it is 3/4 of an inch thick. Well, that right there is probably 5/8 of an inch thick for where this is at. So I'll let that dry for a little while. I can still, even where I hit it with CA glue, I can push my fingernail into the bark. So we'll let it dry, and then I'll hit it again, and hopefully that will harden that up enough that I can finish just back hollowing this instead of having to set up the whole hollowing system, which I was trying to avoid because it's pieces, parts, and I don't want to drag everything around. Being lazy, it doesn't really matter in the scheme of things. It's nicer to only have to use a few tools to get a job done, which is why when I talk about multitaskers, unitaskers versus multitaskers, there are very, very few good unitaskers. And there are very few good multitaskers, in my opinion. Things like a ball peen hammer, which would be really good for forging, right? I mean, that's not a unitasker. It's a hammer for many, many things. A skew doesn't do just one cut, and you don't have to hold the skew just one way. Same thing with the bowl gouge and all those other things. So, oh my, that camera is quite dirty. So I work to find how many other uses I can get out of the tools that I have and turn them into multitaskers if I can. And that just means that I learn how to drive the tool much more effectively and efficiently. And that's what practice is all about, right? I mean, there is no shortcut. The secret sauce to all of this is practice, practice, practice. I say it all the time. I'll say it all the time still. You got to give yourself the opportunity to practice, but you also got to give yourself the permission to make mistakes. I think often we are hardest on ourselves, more critical of ourselves than others in most cases. And At least in my case, I know that is true, and I'm one of 7 billion people, so I can't think that I am the only outlier. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. If you don't give, if you give yourself too high of a pedestal to reach for, or too high of a step to take to get to the next step, you won't make it, and you'll get frustrated, and you'll quit. You'll give up, or you'll find something else. And with wood turning, wood turning is mostly finesse, but that is the key: is the practice, practice, practice. I put in a lot of hours myself, but I'm here to tell you that even the pros,
Awash
the
Health Life of
professionals,
23AO7GS said, best viewers.
Awash Hafe Life B23AO7GS. That's an interesting name. Hello and welcome. Thank you for participating, chat. I certainly appreciate that. You probably don't know me. My name is Dave. I'm a wood turner. I started this channel. I started turning as therapy for PTSD. Found out I had a knack for it. Fell in love with it. Then I started teaching it. Fell in love with that. So I started this channel to become a better teacher and a better demonstrator, and also a better turner, because, as I was saying before, the secret sauce is practice. Practice, practice. So welcome to the channel. I hope you stick around. Hope you follow, and you show up tomorrow night. I'm about to wrap up the broadcast this evening, but I will be back tomorrow night to finish this piece right here. Let's turn that camera down. Ta-da! That one. I guess I don't have to do that. I could always just do this. We'll switch the camera. So I want to get
K14 said, cool.
So I want to get CA glue in this bark right here.
Mav K14.
So once that dries, we'll get it.
Tanks.
That's pretty amusing. Thank you. All right, so that's where we're at now. I got this hollow form that I'll start working on again tomorrow. I want this to dry enough to get that CA glue in that bark. It was just too wet. It wasn't soaking it up. So once I get that, then I can adjust, and let's look at this. So this is my game plan, all right? I want to get that bark as solid as I can. Then I'll slightly enlarge this hole to clean up this rim here that's giving me the vibration. I need to have that rim solid as I'm making my back hollowing moves. I need to have that rim. That's a fulcrum point for the tool. It's the tool rest. And well, actually, to be quite honest, the tool rest is really not making much of a difference. It's that rim right there that guides the tool for me. So I need to have a round hole. It can't be any other shape. At least not to use a spindle gouge to do back hollowing. It doesn't matter what shape it is if you're using a hollowing system or dedicated hollowing tools where you can get around and all that. I don't have any of that. What I have is a hollowing system, Lyle Jameson's hollowing system, and more recently, like the last 4 years, I've been hollowing more with just a spindle gouge, because I taught myself how to back hollow. I didn't even know that was a thing, and I can't remember where I saw it. And they weren't hollowing a piece; they were back hollowing a bowl, and that opens up a bowl really, really fast. There's only so far you can go, though, because when you're back hollowing in a bowl, your fulcrum point is your bevel. It's not wherever the rim is sitting on the tool steel. Say I'm out here, that's my fulcrum, or out here, you got that real estate, and that's it for the fulcrum. If you round this over, you might have a little bit more, but you can only go so far with the bowl gouge back hollowing before you start getting into catch territory. With back hollowing a hollow form, it's different, because I'm taking a hole that's really not much wider than the tool steel, and I'm cutting across the top and not the bottom, not the side or the bottom. I'm going across the top, and that's why it's called back hollowing, because I'm going backwards. But I'm going across the top. With a bowl, you might go along the side or slightly underneath. If you're using like a negative rake scraper or a scraper, you might be slightly below center and turning. But typically with a bull, you're going this way, or if you're going to back hollow the bull to open it up pretty quick, you're going back and forth this way. But there's only so far you can go before you're no longer making good contact without being in catch territory that way. Still, great way to open up a bull. But with hollowing, it's a different beast altogether. It's going across the inside top of the hollow form. It's going across the inside top to shave away all that material. And so you see my handles low most of the time when I'm hollowing is because I'm going up over the top. Anyway, so that's the game plan. We'll see how that works tomorrow. Um, and having said that, I'm going to wrap it up this evening. So I really appreciate you joining me and participating in chat and throwing down the follows. And if you subscribe, hey, thank you again. That's also very awesome. I want to say I hope you all stay friendly.
Thanks.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you all very much for the support, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Take care, folks. Take it easy, Mav. I'll see you tomorrow, man. I hope.